The federal government has approved a downward review of fees for the assessment and ranking of textbooks. Hi, welcome to What's Happening. These are our top 10 stories countdown today. At number 10, the Ebola outbreak declared in May has killed more than 1,000 people in the Democratic Republic of Congo and Uganda, the World Health Organization said Wednesday. In all, 2,473 cases of the deadly virus, including 999 deaths, have been confirmed in DRC, while 20 cases, including 2 deaths, have been registered in the neighboring Uganda, according to a WHO overview based on official data from the two countries. The DRC's 17th Ebola outbreak was declared on May 15th after several deaths in Ituri and has remained concentrated in the mineral-rich northeastern province plagued by armed groups. At number 9, Pep Guardiola has held talks with the Italian Football Federation over the possibility of becoming the next head coach for the Italy national team. Federation President Giovanni Malago has confirmed the former Manchester City manager is being considered for the role, following Italy's failure to qualify for a third consecutive FIFA World Cup and the departure of Gennaro Gattuso as head coach in April. Guardiola left Manchester City this summer after a successful 10-year spell, during which he won 6 Premier League titles, 3 FA Cups, 5 League Cups, and the UEFA Champions League. Reports from Sky Italia had earlier revealed contact between FIGC and the 55-year-old Spaniard, with Malago confirming that discussions had taken place. At number 8, the Nasarawa State Police Command says it fought a kidnap attempt and rescued 4 victims during a tactical operation by police operatives attached to the Adaha division in Akwanga local government area of the state. This was contained in a statement made available to journalists in Lafia, the state's capital, on Wednesday by the public relations officer SP Rahman Nansel. According to him, the incident occurred on July 21st, 2026 at about 9:40 p.m. following a distress call reporting that suspected kidnappers were operating around Megona filling station and Daha along the Akwanga Just Road. He explained that upon receiving the report, the divisional police officer immediately mobilized and led a team of operatives to the scene. At number 7, the Universal Basic Education Commission has said it is expanding access to basic education in Kano State through the construction of nearly 4,000 classrooms and support for the recruitment of more teachers. The commission said the intervention is aimed at improving access to quality education by addressing infrastructure deficit and the shortage of qualified teachers. UBEC Executive Secretary Aisha Gaba disclosed this during a series of education engagements in Kano State, where she joined the Minister of Education Dr. Tunji Alausa, the Minister of State for Education Professor Suwaiba Ahmed, and Governor Abba Yusuf to inspect UBEC supported projects and witness the presentation of appointment letters to newly recruited teachers. In a statement issued on Wednesday, Gaba said the commission had delivered nearly 4,000 classrooms across the state to provide safer and more conducive learning environments for pupils. At number 6, the Cross River State House of Assembly has passed for second reading a bill seeking to prohibit same-sex marriage and civil unions in the state. The bill tried a bill for a law to prohibit contracts of marriage or civil union entered into between persons of the same sex, solemnization of same, whether cultural or in accordance with any statute in existence, and for matters connected therewith 2026, was sponsored by the member representing Boki 2 State Constituency, Hilary Bisong, and co-sponsored by 10 other lawmakers. If passed into law, the legislation will prohibit the recognition and solemnization of same-sex marriages and civil unions in Cross River, including those contracted outside the state of Nigeria. It also seeks to recognize only marriages between a man and a woman as valid and prescribes penalties for offenders and persons who aid, promote, or facilitate such unions. At number 5, the Social Democratic Party has approached the Court of Appeal in Abuja, seeking an order to halt the execution of a federal high court judgment that purports to restore its expelled former leadership and validate a contested governorship candidacy in Osun State. The party also praised that the court restrained the Independent National Electoral Commission from giving effect to the lower court directive pending the final determination of the substantive appeal. At number 4, Governor Inuwa Yahaya of Gombe State has sworn in a newly constituted State Executive Council alongside key top government officials, expanding the state executive ministries from 18 to 23 to accelerate service delivery in the final stretch of his administration. The swearing-in ceremony held at the International Conference Center in Gombe saw 23 commissioners, 13 special advisors, 1 permanent secretary, and the newly appointed head of civil service, Muazu Shehu, officially take their oath of office. Supporters from across the state, 11 local government areas, and 13 local council development areas gathered at the venue to witness the inauguration. At number 3, Kano State Governor Abba Yusuf has commended the federal government for suspending the increase in the National Examinations Council examination fees. This is contained in a statement issued by his Chief Press Secretary Mustafa Mohammed on Wednesday in Kano. Mohammed said that Yusuf made the commendation while distributing appointment letters to 4,900 teachers for basic and secondary schools, as well as the engagement of 3,688 Abba Gida Besta Cohort V facilitators. Yusuf described the federal government decision as a thoughtful intervention that would reduce the financial burden on millions of Nigerian families and promote access to quality education. At number 2, the Minister of Foreign Affairs Bianca Odumegu Ojukwu will receive the Minister for Foreign Affairs of Germany, Johann Wadefo, on Wednesday at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs Abuja for high-level bilateral consultations aimed at further strengthening the long-standing relations between both countries. The visit, according to a statement by the ministry spokesperson, Kimiebi Ebienfa, reflects the enduring partnership between Nigeria and Germany, which spans several decades and is anchored on mutual respect, shared democratic values, economic cooperation, and a common commitment to promoting regional and global peace, security, stability, and sustainable development. At number 1, the federal government has approved a downward review of fees for the assessment and ranking of textbooks. The move is aimed at easing the financial burden on publishers and authors ahead of the implementation of the federal government national textbook ranking system. The review was announced in a statement personally signed by the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Educational Research and Development Council, Salisu Shehu, and made available to newsmen on Wednesday in Abuja. According to the council, the assessment fee has been reduced from 2,000 naira to 1,500 naira per page, while the fee for ranking textbooks has been cut from 1 million naira to 750,000 naira per title. That's all for today. See you next time on What's Happening.